Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Spirit Rising. My name is Reverend Minnassa, Gabon, and I am the spiritual leader, which is a fancy way for saying I'm the pastor, at Unity of Bloomington. And this podcast is about exploring new thought spirituality for these shifting times, these devolving and evolving times. And to not just chat about it, but offering practices and equipping and empowering so that we're able to stay grounded, rise in love, and live with intention. But I'm not here by myself.
Hey, I'm here too. I'm Maryellen May, your co-host and conversation partner on this journey. We are so excited to launch this new adventure with you, bringing wisdom, humor, honesty, and a deep desire to share spiritual tools for everyday life.
So why in the heck are we doing a podcast? Because I'm like, Maryellen, we need to do a podcast. And they have a podcast thing in our beautiful library. What is the name? What is this?
Monroe County Public Library.
Monroe County Public Library on 6th.
Yes, and 6th and Kirkwood, basically.
6th and Kirkwood. You know, right now, the world is changing. And one of the things that I say, well, the world is always changing, but one of the things that I always say on our Sunday service is that what we do inside the center on Sunday, all the love, all the graciousness, all the vulnerability, all the accepting, if we don't take that out of the building, it was a great 1 hour together, and then thank you very much. But this is about bringing a sense of being, of oneness, of healing, of shining our light while things are chaotic and uncertain. And yet there's always a sense that something new is trying to be born. I think one of the things we talked about when all of these things happen is that Valerie Kaur said that while this appears to be darkness, it's not just the darkness of the tomb, because some things need to die, but it's also the darkness of the womb, that things are being birthed, and that shot through the birth canal to that light. It's dark, it's messy. You know, birth is a hot mess. And we try to make things all beautiful, but I think, Maryellen, you and I both know that, we got the end of that. I was like, what in the heck just happened to me? Right in that. And that's just a very true thing, that something beautiful is wanting to be born. You know, the beauty of the lotus flower is that it does the best in the muddiest water. So everyone loves this flower and has tattoos all over themselves with them, but they don't know that it flourishes in the mud. And so in this muck and mess of what's happening around us, can we flourish? Yes. And we're here to equip you and empower you and give you the tools, give you spiritual practices to help us do that. Because, you know, Maryellen, I was thinking that, yes, things seem all chaotic now because I'm like a liberal. But people probably felt that same way when Clinton was the president or Barack Obama was the president. They probably felt that way when FDR was the president and Teddy Roosevelt was the president.
True.
So this country is a work in progress. Our spirituality is a work in progress, and we are a work in progress. And how do you put that work in when things are simple and easy and under your control? Heck no. And so this is a beautiful gift. This chaos, this uncertainty, to put our spiritual gifts, our spiritual, I'd say to walk the talk. Because I'm a spiritual person and I just love being loving and kind to people. Okay, we'll do it now. So that's what we're here to talk about. What do you think, Maryellen?
Yeah, and in the middle of all of this muck and mud, we're asking, where do I find peace? How do I stay grounded? How do I keep hope alive? And that's exactly why we wanted to create this space, to say, you're not alone. And there are ways to rise above the noise, reconnect with spirit, and live with more clarity and strength. And speaking of all that, Minnassa, one of our listeners, Jonna, had a really powerful question. And she said, have Reverend Minnassa talk about the metaphysical perspective on what is happening in our country. So I'm going to ask you, how do you see it?
I'm wearing the earrings that Jonna gave me for my birthday. So let's talk about that. We are a metaphysical and new thought spiritual center. So we don't use blame or shame or guilt or hell or devil or even magical man in the sky. That this is about stepping into the spirituality of who we are. And so I have often said at Unity, I bring my little Pentecostal background, there's a verse that says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, and entities in higher places, so that we are internal people and we are spiritual people, and we need to move energetically and spiritually. So while I'm going to be mad at you because you got a MAGA hat on, you're going to be mad at me because I'm black, right? All those things aren't the true me and aren't the true other person. So let's come to the spiritual aspect. What is a metaphysical, beyond the physical, beyond what my five senses can see? What is the answer for that? Because if we're just using our senses, we're messing it up anyway. This is about stepping into a higher truth, connecting to the divine within. That's what we believe in New Thought and at Unity. That God is a principle, not a thing or an entity. It is a principle, that it's all good. And I am a reflection and a creation of that principle. So I'm all good. So everyone is all good. There's no bad people. There's no evil people. They're just choosing to act from a certain energy. And then let me counteract that energy. And so chaos is life. And so we're here to say, from a metaphysical, from a spiritual, from a spirit that's within, from a knowing our divine audacity, from our oneness, how can we help turn this situation, be a transformative presence, be a light when there's dark? There's a higher truth, not a right truth. I'm not saying that what I'm talking about is right, but what I'm saying is that it is founded in science, it's founded in spirituality, it's founded in experience. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And so, yes, Jana wants to talk about what is happening today in our politics. And this is what really has come to me as I thought about this question, is that there's a lack of intimacy. Now, I know what you're saying. What are you talking about? We're all supposed to get into bed with each other? Well, that's not even intimacy, right? A sex worker that's her or his business. That's just a business coupling. And I think I can't speak for men because I don't be knowing what mans is be doing. But I know that there are some women who, even with their partner, were having a business exchange there, right? I need some comfort. I need some safety. I need this financial thing that you provide me. So yes, I love you and I have feelings, but I'm giving an exchange right here. So sex is not always about intimacy, but intimacy is about trust, vulnerability, the capacity to be self-reflective and to create a space for other people. And we have lost that. We don't know our neighbors and we don't know ourselves. So because I hate myself, because I reject myself, because I'm judging myself, how I'm going to do that to you. People are always wanting to throw around Bible quotes and stuff. Well, they asked Master Teacher Jesus, what are the great commandments, right? They're trying to get him in trouble. There's 10. Choose the one that's the best. Because whatever you say is the wrong answer, we're going to pick up these rocks and throw them at you. Right? That's how they were getting down in that story, which comes from the sacred text of Christianity. And what he does is he doesn't answer their question. He says, I'm going to sum this up. That of those 10 commandments, which the Pharisees and the Sadducees had turned into 660 plus, right? He says there's 2 commandments. Love God as you love God, love your neighbor, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's the problem right there. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, because most of us don't love ourselves. Right? I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too dark, my eyes aren't the right color, I don't have 20/20 vision, I wasn't born in the right place. All those things, and then so when I look at someone else, I am judging them, right? It's easy to love God. You say God outside, and say love God. Go to the Grand Canyon. Whenever I go there, Lake Tahoe, right? It's like I feel so small, Pacific Ocean. It's like this creative force, this beautiful, loving, light-filled energy. How awesome. Look at the ocean. You know, I love flowers, right? My daughter's name is Lily, named after a flower. Whenever I see flowers, and she would get so mad, would be walking down the street, and people's flowers would be coming over their fence, and I'd just be smelling everyone. And I don't know why she was traumatized. Maryellen, you need to help her. But that is God. Beauty, peace, that invitation to smell the roses or the lilies or the daisies. And we have lost that capacity to be at one with ourselves. And so we see that reflected in just this us, them, you, they. You know, this is the beauty of Asian spirituality, the yin yang, the black and white together. They work together, and in the white image there's a little black dot, and in the black image there's a little white dot. We are not separate. And so that is the first challenge of what's happening. But when people can play on that, oh, those people are not from here. Okay, good. Because when I go to some of these restaurants from the people that aren't from here, I'm very happy they're not from here. Right? And so, but we're all from the same planet. I mean, I think we can begin with that. So we all are from here. But that loss of intimacy, that capacity to see yourself and others, that capacity to see the divine in others, that capacity to understand that you are, I am, God is, I am. And to me, that's the real crux of what is happening in this country. So you have a group of people who, for whatever reasons, have been so hungry for power that when they get there, they want to take it from people, or I don't know, I can't really speak to that because I'm not in that energy. But that fear, that othering, that Maryellen, I'm really trying to be on my best behavior and not make some sort of comment, but keeping it on the spiritual track. But I will say, as a black woman, if you don't already know that about me, is that just this fear of black women trying to just fire black women, okay, leave black women alone. Right? Why are you trying to fire people? Why are you trying to change the museums, the Smithsonian, take this and this out? Or, okay, why? Right? Because the truth is a big part of vulnerability. Our mistakes are a part of our vulnerability. So yes, don't cover up in the Smithsonian what we did in slavery or what we did, women having to march in the streets to get the right to vote, people getting watered down with hoses and dogs to get their right to vote. Don't cover that up. That's the beauty of the mistakes. When you can tell that person, I was weak in this way. I was scared in this way. I was disempowered in this way. I was frightened. And they still embrace you. Or they still say, that's okay. That's what this country is missing. We're all just trying to put on this big facade that I got it all together. I mean, Maryellen, yesterday or August 28th is and was my birthday. And yeah, I had a rough day. And I got on the phone, police and Reiki healing to my wife. I'm scared right now. I'm feeling vulnerable. And the intimacy of those people who came and embraced me, and we are here for you, and what can we do for you? That was healing to me. So what began as a really challenging day ended with me just having a fun birthday and eating and everyone hugging me. And then when Gail got there, everyone doing what they usually do, which was forget about me and go and spend time with her. But again, that intimacy of I am weak right now. I'm wigging out right now. I'm freaking out right now. For people to not say, well, what? You are the pastor of our church. You must be perfect at all times. They're like, girl, bring it. And we have lost that in this country. And even to speak the truth, if you had an uncle who came to your dinner and was just spouting off and saying weird stuff that was not related to what was happening at the dinner table, someone would say, Uncle Frank? Someone would say, something's wrong with Uncle Frank. Say, yeah, something's wrong with Uncle Frank. Then we're all going to get Uncle Frank together and say, Uncle Frank, are you feeling okay? Or let me come to your house. And you see Uncle Frank's house is a horrible mess. He hasn't cooked or cleaned or anything. We're going to take care of Uncle Frank. Well, in this country, we just let Uncle Frank just say whatever. And then we're going to fight over it instead of saying, Uncle Frank's jank, right? I'm not saying he's a bad person or uncle, right? But again, we need to speak the truth sometime. But we've lost that capacity. Truth is intimacy. You have to really trust someone to be able to share your truth and to say that. And so those are the things that we're missing. And that's because we gave up spirituality for religion. We gave up femininity for patriarchy. And I'm not saying that men don't have a place, but it's off kilter. And so we need to come to center. We need to come to that place. And it's not always 50-50. You say you're talking about, well, intimacy like in relationships. Sometimes it's not 50-50. Some days it's 90-10. And other days it's 100-0. And then there's those days it's 50-50. But for us as a spiritual people, as the unity of Bloomington, a Center for Spiritual Growth, what we're doing here today and moving forward is saying, step back into the intimacy of your connection with the divine of who you are. At Unity, we have the 12 powers. We just went through a whole thing, and I just tested out of my 12 powers class. But those 12 powers are saying right away, there's something good within you. And using those 12 powers, how can you and I be a transformative presence in our homes first? Like, hey, I'm going to change the world. Well, is your home a hot mess? Okay, start there, right? I know people don't want to hear that, right? People want to go out and fix things. Well, that's not how it works. Start with yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you value yourself? Do you honor yourself? When someone says to me, well, I would do that, but, waste too much energy. Oh, so you're not worth the extra $10 on your electric bill to use your stove or do whatever? That's a value. That's a devaluing of yourself. And so the intimacy begins within. Do you know your value? Do you know your audaciousness? Do you know what you bring to this world? And then when you can see that love in yourself, you can then see other people through that loving eye. And there's that intimacy again. Like I always talk about my neighbors here at Kroger South. I get in that store, people trying to help, everybody saying hi to me and say, well, that's because you're a minister. Well, those aren't people from my center. They don't know me. And again, that neighborly touch. And so moving forward, we're going to come from that lens of I am vulnerable. I am open. I am ready and I'm healing. But I know my value. I love myself. And from that place of love, right? And that's a very new thought consciousness, because from a traditional religion, you were born with original sin before you did anything. You already came out bad, right? So that's why you have all those, omen movies and stuff. You were born bad, right? We don't believe that. And it's not really in the text, and that's a whole different conversation. It's not in the Bible that people were born that way. That's dogma around that. But we're going to go with the original understanding from Genesis 1:26. Let us make humanity in our image. And what is the image? You just watched the 6 days of creation, orderly, joyfully. And actually, in some ways out of order, because you had light without the sun and the moon, and you had vegetation without the sun, right? So again, stuff can be chaotic and weird and out of order and out of sequence. But in the end, and at the end of the day, it's all good. And that will be our point of view. It's all good. I don't have to like it. Like everyone knows I don't like liver and onions, but it's all good for the people. Weird people, no, for the people that like eating that. Or I always say that at Unity of Bloomington and in our community, we accept people who eat pizza with pineapple. We don't judge you. Maybe. We love you, right? And so what does the world need right now? What is the metaphysical answer? Intimacy. It begins with ourselves. And once you can be intimate with yourself, which is about self-reflection, self-awareness, what got me triggered, why did I respond that way, how can I come and be my true self, where can I expand and release myself, that is the beginning of healing ourselves, our families, our city, and our nation. We've lost who we are. What is the American dream? Who is a good American? Right? We have lost all that. And that we're seeing that. So I feel like that's all falling down. We're getting ready to re-identify ourselves. We don't have to be in control of the whole world. We don't have to be flexing so every country thinks that we're great. I think right now we just said we're in a hot mess right now. We just don't really know what's going on, and we're kind of all fighting each other for no reason. And we got this old guy running the country, and he picked like the C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, Z team to run the place, and we're getting those consequences. So we're going to say, we're going to hold the best, call a spade, and still come from a place of love to make sure that this nation is the best it can be. But it doesn't mean it has to be better than everyone else. And that's where we begin. That we're not better than anyone else. Me and Maryellen ain't trying to tell you something. Unity of Bloomington don't have all the answers. But together, hand in hand, arm in arm, we can get there.
That is so powerful, Minnassa. And I love how you remind us that we're not powerless. We actually get to participate in shaping consciousness.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, let's do some breath work today. This is a good introductory thing. I don't know, we want to thank the Monroe Public Library again on 6th Street in Kirkland, across the street from Dave's Hot Chicken, where I'm going to be taking that home to eat today. But I don't know, Maryellen, we may be able to do better at a different spot. But come on down to the library. They have this whole room. But let's just begin with we're going to do 2 exercises. We're going to do a breathing exercise and then the what's called the body scan, which is a basic mindfulness exercise. Because how do I become self-aware? How do I become intimate with myself? Well, it's that breathing. It's taking the time to be still. Put your iPad down, or put your phone down, or stop streaming. Stop avoiding life. Spend time with yourself. You were here. You came in with yourself, and you're gonna go out with yourself. So spend time with yourself. And so an easy way to do that is, I didn't know my chair. I was like, my chair is rolling.
On wheels.
We're going to do this is by doing a breathing exercise. And what I call it is taking a yogic breath. So most of us breathe from our lungs. And our lungs have a certain liter capacity, which I think might be 6, and we barely breathe 1. So for yoga folks, we're going to breathe from our diaphragm, which is from below your belly button. So you breathe in there. I always tell people when I do a mindfulness presentation that if you can't breathe, you're not doing nothing, right? Your breath your body's got to be oxygenated. And so all of these things, I tell people, most people understand that when they got frustrated with something, they went, they exhaled. But if you had inhaled, you would have given yourself a new breath. It would have refreshed whatever was happening. Then you could have pushed that air out and then breathed in again. You would have had that sort of the refresh that you needed. And so that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to do 3 yogic breaths. So if you want to put your hands on your stomach. So I know in this world, your stomach's not supposed to stick out, and as we all wearing Spanx and everything else, but you're going to exhale to where your stomach actually fills up your diaphragm. And then when you inhale, you're going to inhale to where your stomach actually comes out. And then when you exhale, you're going to push back like you're trying to get your belly button to touch your spine, which of course it won't because all your squishy organs are in the way. But it's about really trying to empty out, get any stale air out, any stale energy out. And then we're going to breathe in again. So we're going to do this 3 times. All right, so let's just loosen up our shoulders. Maryellen, just shake your hands and your fingers and just loosen up. All right, so let's take a yogic breath in and then out with the sigh. Right, pushing that air back. So now you'll really have more capacity to breathe in on the second breath. So let's breathe in and then push it out with that sigh. Right, and so now you're like, so let's do it one more time. Let's breathe in and then out with that sigh. So most people feel very refreshed after taking those 3 years. Even your energies change. Yeah, because I'm telling you, getting that breath in. So we're going to do something very similar. We're going to start with those 3 breaths to get centered. Then we're going to go through the body scan. So I'm going to invite you that wherever you're sitting, please don't do this while you're driving, is to have your feet flat on the ground because we're going to start with feet. So the body scan, you can do it from the feet up or the head down. Well, to me, it doesn't make sense to go from the head down, so I do it from the feet up. So we're going to take 3 yogic breaths, and then you're going to stay in that cycle of connecting to your breath because that's you. Your breath. That's you. Connecting to that sacred spark that you are through your breath. And then we're going to go through the body and connect. Become one. Become present. So many women have been taught to hate this very thing that takes you everywhere you need to go. And men too. I shouldn't say that. You look at some magazines, get bigger pecs or bigger this or that, right? So we got to learn to love ourselves the way that we are. So we're going to begin with 3 yogic breaths, and then with your eyes closed or your eyes cast down, again, not driving or walking, we'll go through this body scan. So let's breathe in through the nose and then out through your mouth. Let's breathe in again through your nose And out through your mouth. Let's breathe in again through your nose. And out through your mouth. Yes. And then from this space, as you continue to breathe consciously, purposefully, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to your left big toe, your right big toe, to bring your attention to all your toes, and then your feet. Let's do the bottom of your feet, the arch, your heel, and then the top of your feet, the sides, left and right, and just be present to your feet. If you have any tension there, you can wiggle your toes and let that tension out. Then let's bring your attention to your ankles. And then your lower leg, which is your calf and shin, hard and soft, working together. And then your knee, that amazing joint. Then let's bring your attention to your thighs, those amazing quadriceps. And think about the lower part of your thigh, your upper thigh, your inner and outer thigh. And just become present to that lower aspect of your body. How often have you thought about the work that your knees, your ankles, and your thighs do for you, your feet? And just be present. Maybe say a little gratitude affirmation. I'm grateful for all that my lower body does for me. And while we're here, let's bring in the glutes, because they finish out the lower body, your behind. And being present, grateful, connected, thankful. And while we're in this space, let's take a breath in and out. And then we're going to come to the core of our body, where all the squishy things are. And being present now to all those aspects of your body that eliminate, to the parts of your body that gather your food, like your stomach, that are filtering things, your kidneys and your liver. Think about your spleen that takes excess emotion. Come to your beautiful lungs. And while we're there, let's take a breath in and out. Think about that beautiful heart, the motor of the body, your ribs and your spine that encase you and keep you in place. Those shoulders, and sometimes we have a lot of stress there, so let's bring our shoulders up to our ear and then drop them down. Just releasing any tension you may have there and being thankful for that spine. And let's just sit up a little bit straighter, and how it all works together. And let's bring your attention to your fingers. You can wiggle your fingers, the palm of your hand, the top of your hand, your wrist, your lower arm and your elbow, your upper arm. We come back to your shoulders, and if it's good for you, you can roll them forward and back, releasing any tension you may have there. Thinking about your throat and your neck as they connect to the top of your shoulders, your spine, just moving that part of your body gently, gratefully, consciously. And then let's come to our head, the back of our head and our ears, thinking about the top of our head, then our chin and our mouth. And we hold so much stress there in our jaws. It's just open, releasing any tension or stress in our mouths right there. Bringing our attention to our cheeks, our nose, our eyes, those eyebrows, the forehead, the top of our head again, and being present to ourselves as a whole being, our whole physical self, from our toes to the top of our head. And let us breathe in and out. But we are also an energetic being. And so let's bring our energetic self into awareness as well. And so the Earth Star chakra just beneath our feet. I am grounded. Our root chakra at our tailbone. I am safe. Our sacral chakra just beneath our belly button. I am creative. Our solar plexus chakra just above our belly button. I am powerful. Our heart chakra right there in the middle of our chest. I am love. I am beloved. And I love. Our throat chakra. I speak my truth joyfully and powerfully. That third eye chakra right between those eyebrows, I see with the eyes of the divine. And then our crown chakra, I connect to all that is. We are one. And in this space of complete awareness, of oneness, of being embodied in this beautiful, beautiful entity, take the time to appreciate the feet that have taken you to places and taken you away from places. All those organs that eliminate your food efficiently. Your stomach that holds your food, and that heart that keeps you going, that has you love. To the hands that have held the hands of your children, your parents, your lover. The arms that have embraced. The voice that has said, this is what matters to me, and I will stand in this space powerfully and joyfully. In this body, we are one, and all is well. I invite you to take a breath in and out, and come back into the space where you're at. Let's take a breath in and out. And one last breath in and out. And that is the gift of this first episode. That in the midst of what's going on, turn to yourself. You are the power. You are the answer. You are the solution. Step into that space. Just take a breath. You've got a meeting to have to go into. Take a breath. You got to get out in this traffic, whether you're in LA or Montreal or Paris or France, or Paris is in France, Germany, wherever you hear this, and you're getting ready to get in the traffic on the subway, out in them streets. Take a breath. And then know that I dare you. I'm daring, folks. I dare you to spend 2 minutes sitting still and being present to yourself. It will make such a difference in the rest of your day to be present. TV off, streaming off, phone off, iPad, whatever the Android thing is, pad. And be present to the stillness, the awesomeness, the power, the love, the holiness that you are. And then move forward from that connection. I'm going to take one more breath in and out.
Thank you, Minnassa. That feels so good. I can feel the shift already. And thank you for joining us for this first episode of Spirit Rising. We're honored to begin this journey with you. So if you have a question for Reverend Minnassa for next time, please email this address, UOFB community. It's UOFB community @gmail.com, and we will get your question on the episode next time.
That's true. If you say, well, I have this question about this spiritual topic. And I will say that we're not interested in arguing. And if you disagree with what I said today, thank you for sharing your opinion. But I'm not trying to argue or prove myself or have you believe. If you don't believe, you don't like what I said, keep it moving. I know, I will say in some kind of loving way. If you don't like or agree with what I say, then I send you on your way with love and grace. But keep it moving. You can go to whatever site you like that says the stuff that you like and listen to that. This is a space for love and light, for conversation and dialogue. So it doesn't mean we have to agree about everything. And if you come in the right energy, if you come with love and say, I disagree with what you have to say, but be curious, be open, be courageous, and step boldly into the light of who you are. So until we meet again, may you rise in spirit, live with intention, and know that you are loved. And together, and so it is.